We are live. Welcome, everybody, to Susan for SLC Aquatics and my special guests, Jack and Dan. How's everybody doing?
What's up, Susan?
It's good seeing you guys.
You were one of the first stickers we ever traded with, was you,
Yeah.
Susan.
Wow. I've
One of the
got
first.
I've got this really big sticker on my board over here.
Now Jack's Wall of Fame, we have to do a video on it. It's got like, what would you say, 200 things on it or something?
Stickers, yeah.
We have to do a video. Ooh, uh-oh. I gotta turn this down. I got my phone on. It's yeah, I mean it's got every time we do a shout out video, every time we send somebody a sticker, they send us something back. And we haven't done we did a shout out video right at the beginning of the year, and we didn't even do a video with all those ones on there now, but his like whole wall is going to be full by probably by another few months here. And it's really exciting meeting everybody and getting in touch with everybody. Super, super awesome.
I'm counting the size of my bulletin board. It's about a 2.5 by 4.
Yeah.
The standard little board on the wall.
Yeah.
And
Oh, cool. That's nice.
you can see that it's almost full, and there's several that I have that's not on it yet.
That's right. You got one of the prototypes in the beginning. We only sent you and Daniel Keeping Fish were the only two people to ever get that.
That's cool.
You're the only ones. After that, we had like vinyl ones made. That was something that somebody made for us as like a prototype to try it out. I forgot about that. That's
Those
funny.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, I remember now. All this is recalling memory.
And then we sent a whole bunch of them to Poland because there's all these Polish folks that do aquascaping that we connected with, like Aqua Zanon.
Yeah, there's an Ukrainian guy named Boris.
Oh, Boris, yeah, BR Antov. We always give him shout outs. Amazing, amazing, amazing channel. Always talk to him and lots of folks overseas. But it's just so cool to connect with people all over the world. But then sometimes you end up connecting with people right in your backyard, like Their World Aquatics and those guys. I mean, we literally live a half an hour from them. Haven't gone to see them yet. We're supposed to soon, but maybe when COVID subsides a little and the weather gets nicer, we'll be connected with more people. And then we're also supposed to go back and see Father Fish for Jack's spring break because
Nice.
we're going back to Disney for April 1st for Jack's spring break. We didn't really get to do anything for a while, with the virus.
Yep.
So we had to cancel a bunch of stuff like everybody else. And then we went to see him about 13 months ago. We saw him for Christmas when we went. And then that was when we first met him. And we drove, it's about an hour and a half from Orlando, drove down to Venice, hung out with him, did that whole interview.
Yeah, cool.
Nobody had really interviewed him yet. And
No.
he told Jack during that interview, that was the first time he ever talked about why his name was Father Fish. And that was pretty neat.
That's amazing. I wanted to say hi to a few that's in the chat. We've got about 4 viewing right now. We've got, of course, y'all know Mary Page Flynn and Flynn's Fish Forum. I don't know if you know Flynn or not, do you?
From
Canada.
I don't know. We'll have to check Flynn out. I'm not sure that we do.
I like what Jessie at Mains and Tails, Furs and Fins, whatever. She said instead of calling it pineapples, we're going to call it check valves. So check valves. And but he's a young man from Canada that I met through Corey at Aquarium Co-op 6 years ago, and he's grown up. I've watched him grow up. So 6 years, and he was 12. So he's about 16 or 17 right now.
Wow.
And he flew down from Canada a lot of times over into Washington there to visit Corey at Corey's shop. And Patty, I want to say hi to Patty. And I want
What's up, Patty?
I want to say hi to Daniel Keeping Fish.
There's Daniel. We were just talking about you, buddy.
Yeah. And down the Wormhole D from Canada. Hey, D. How you doing? So we want to welcome y'all into the stream, and I'm excited to chit chat with Jack and Dan. I've tried to play catch up this afternoon. I was taking a cat nap when you all were at the gym.
Yeah.
And I've been watching some of your I've just been picking and choosing a couple of your videos from the year, and I did see your New Year shout out video, and I just got through watching your little sled rides.
Yeah,
Getting
that
a
was
little
a fun
money.
one. It's kind of fun. So we started this whole thing because I work as a wellness coordinator. I've been a nurse for like 30 years. A lot of people who watch our channel know that. And Jack, of course, being in the age category he's in, grew up with YouTube and all this stuff. I was the kind of guy that a few years ago, I was walking around with a flip phone because I'm just that kind of guy. I worked in nursing. We weren't allowed to have phones on us anyway.
The first like smartphone you had was your Samsung, right?
It was a couple years ago when I took the job. I took a job working as a wellness coordinator over this big company. It's something I always wanted to do to help my fellow healthcare workers to get healthier, reduce their premiums, help them get lower insurance, and help them deal with the stress of working in this field. Nursing is the second most stressful job in the world next to air traffic controllers.
Yes.
And air traffic controllers started wellness programs a long time ago. And lo and behold, they actually helped. So a lot of hospitals and nursing facilities and you know, really medical professions started having wellness programs. And so I helped this company develop a program, and now I run it for them, and I help my fellow healthcare workers. And it is very busy. And the last 16 months have been extremely busy because of all of the extra stuff that is added to what these nurses and doctors and therapists and STNAs have to deal with now on a daily basis. It is unbelievable. And one of the things we started doing is we started posting our aquariums because we moved here a few years back, and we started a lot of new fish tanks and a lot of new projects. It's something that I've been doing since I was 5 years old. Jack's had a fish tank hanging over his crib since he was born.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are kind of new to this thing. And I'm like, we're new to YouTube, but we're not new to this thing. And if you've seen some of our old videos in that, I used to actually design fish tanks. I used to work for aquarium stores. I used to create all kind of things, and I used to put ads in the back. And I talked about this at OFR, and it was fun in the chat to see all the people who remember the magazine Popular Mechanics.
Yep.
Right. Nowadays, people don't read magazines much. Everything's on the internet. But back in the day, when I was Jack's age, you know, you got some Mad magazines, and you got, you know, your weightlifting magazines and all that, you know, Flex and Muscular Development. And then you got your Popular Mechanics, you know, and for like $7, you could put an ad in the back, and it was a quarterly magazine. So it would last 3 months. And I would make little tiny copies of fish tank designs, and I would put them in the back of Popular Mechanics. And I got a PO box, and people sent me $5 money orders to buy my little booklets. And I sold thousands of them.
Amazing.
It was really fun. And
you've been an entrepreneur all your life.
kind of, sort of, really. It's just that, you know, me and my brothers grew up. Jack's grandfather was a Marine. He was very, you know, pushy. He said, hey, you know, this is the way you're going to be. This is the kind of stuff you're going to do. He used to work nights. He worked 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. He would come home at 4 a.m. and he did the whole drill sergeant garbage can lid thing, woke us up. We all had paper routes. We went, got up at 4 a.m. And that's why I wake up Jack a lot of times now at 4 a.m. We go to the gym together and all that kind of stuff before school. It's really kind of nice, you know? And
you find out if you sleep past 4 o'clock, Jack, you find out you miss a whole lot of life, don't you, if you stay in bed till 8 o'clock, or do you know what that feels like?
I mean, I really don't think, I mean, yeah, you see the sun and stuff like that, but I'd rather sleep in, to be honest.
Yeah, sometimes I let them sleep in a little bit,
Yeah,
but it
on
is
the weekends, you let me sleep.
It is nice. Sometimes on Sunday, we're at the gym at 5 a.m. because there's nobody there, and we can work out and we can make videos. The young lady that I've been dating now for a while, we've been friends for like 23 years, and we kind of reconnected, and she is a personal trainer and a wellness director too. And so, look at those two plecos. That's hilarious. That's what
them. They're lined up.
The small one's over me and the big one's over Jack. That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, Daniel Keeping Fish pointed that out. But yeah, I mean, it's a super cool thing. And having a home office, I mean, I primarily work from home. I talk to most of these folks either by FaceTime or on the phone or whatever, but I do travel around in the summertime when there's more downtime, because open enrollment ends at around, April or May, kind of like when tax season ends. And in the summer, I travel around all around the state, and I put on wellness workshops and wellness presentations. And it's nice to have the freedom. When I worked as a nurse, I was very restricted in what I could do. And now I have the freedom, even though I work a lot more, I can work kind of when I want. So Jack and I have more time together that way, instead of me having to be at work at 6 a.m. or whatever.
That is a blessing. And I want to pause right here, guys. And I want to congratulate you on 11,000 subscribers for your channel.
Thanks.
Yay!
That's nice. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did a big fundraiser thing. And what we did is we did a big video, and we asked a question. And the question was, who is Lacey's boyfriend? And we got about 70 emails so far. And they're all right. Everybody got it right, because we did a video on it a while back, and everybody just thought it was adorable, apparently. So everybody answered it right. And we're going to be deleting that video here probably in about another day. And then we're going to be filming a video where we pick a winner, and they're going to be able to order anything they want off Teespring, off of our store, and we'll send it to them. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. We'll send it any color they want, any size they want.
Teespring's good. I got a sweatshirt from that. It's good.
Grab that pillow right there, sir, the pillow. But what we did is what we're doing with this whole Teespring thing is anybody that orders anything off of Teespring at all, 50% of all the proceeds are going to the Red Cross. And that's just something that we're doing because, we love the Red Cross. They've done a ton of work during the virus. There's one of our pillows that we ordered.
It's really nice quality. Like, it's not rippable or anything. Like, it's
Jack loves it.
Good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, do you have your Teespring link?
Yeah, it's actually, if you look at any of our videos, we have that little shelf now, so it's right underneath the video. Right underneath the video, you can also go on our channel and just hit store, and it's all there too. We actually have everything. We have everything, Patty. That was just a big ploy to get our email addresses. It was funny because Patty emailed us and she gave the right answer, and she said, "Don't sell my email address. Don't worry, we're not going to sell anybody's email address." The reason that we did it that way, oh yeah, there's our mask. We wore those. We actually wore those at OFR because, when you go to the Ohio Fish Rescue, obviously you want to be careful because Tracy's home now. She's been home for a while. And of course, she's compromised in her condition.
You don't want to spread things or anything
right.
like that.
So we wore our masks during the stream there.
The reason why it's well, it's green, of course, because their logo, but the background is red because we had set it on Christmas, and that's just the default. You can obviously change that.
Yeah, we turned everything red for Christmas, and we just left it that way for a while for the holidays.
Oh, here's some of your other products.
Yeah, the jogging pants are pretty cool. Phone cases. We're adding more things. And the other thing we did is we lowered the prices. Like, we didn't go by what Teespring recommends. We lowered them a little bit because we want them to be affordable. Yeah, if you click on that one, you can see the blanket that we had made for Tracy. Go over to the pink blanket too over there. Yeah, that's the one we had made for Tracy Price. And we took that with us. It's a big pink blanket with green JD on it because... we love Tracy. We connected with Tracy a long time ago, and then all this awful stuff happened, and we tried to help a lot. We were able to help her come home because she was actually staying at one of the facilities that I used to work for. Wonderful. And they gave Big Rich they gave him the business because it was during COVID, and of course, unfortunately, we're a little bit judgmental about things, and they're like, "Who's this long-haired heavy metal guy?" That wants to take his wife home. And I said, well, actually, he's a really good friend of mine. He's very mechanically inclined. He's a great guy. He's very smart, and he will have no problem. And if he does, I'll be more than happy to train him. So I helped to train him, and I helped to get him in there to train with her. And then there was a couple instances where I've gone over and helped him, but everything's worked out very well. Rich has done an amazing job. I have to give him amazing props. I get like choked up, but how he does what he does to take care of Tracy every day, to run that rescue, to do what he does for all of those animals.
Yeah.
It makes me want to cry. Like, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got a heart this big.
And still smiles every day and still helps every day and still gives so much every day. We had such a good time. We're uploading a video tomorrow of some behind the scenes stuff fun that we did when we were there.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. Anytime we ever go, we have a whole playlist from when we've gone, and we connected with them when they started and we started, and we say, hey, we're a father-son thing. You're a father-son thing. And then when we started hanging out, I found out that he played in bands at the same time I did back in the day, and we knew a lot of the same people.
He showed us his drum room with his his band room, and it was like a secret layer he had down there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have there it is, Ohio Fish Rescue Visits, and then we also have like aquatic adventures. Some of our playlists kind of cross over, but it's a miraculous place, and we always tell people too, like if you ever get a chance to come to Ohio, contact them. And like Mary and Patty and some of these other folks that have said, hey, I want to go, you know, I say, hey, listen, tell us when you come and we'll meet you there. Jack knows that place better than anybody. He'll give you a tour and everything.
Get to meet two YouTubers in a day.
But it's amazing the amount of people we've helped and met and reached out, and so many people from all over the planet. There's people that came to our channel because they like the Wellness Wednesday stuff. And then they start watching the aquarium stuff and they're like, this is awesome. What a great coping mechanism. What a great hobby. I'm going to start having an aquarium again. And then there's people that come to our channel because of the aquarium stuff. And then they go, wow, this is really good. Like, I didn't know that this restaurant had plant-based options or whatever. So we kind of share both of those things about our lives, and they tend to cross over a lot, you know?
That's beautiful. Y'all are very special people, not only in the fish community, but just the background that you have, Dan, and how you are even mentoring Jack, you know, into being a super person in life. And Jack, whether you know it or not, you're a very rich young man, not just in money, but in the quality of life and the things that I've seen your dad do with you. I get teared up thinking about it, because I had moments with my dad. He passed in 91 that my other siblings didn't have. And they said, well, Susan, how did you know this about your dad, etc.? And I said, well, mainly because I spent time with him when I could. And he wasn't there a lot, but when he was there, I made every minute count, as much as I actually drove him up the wall. He'd say, okay, Susan, you go play. But he taught me to fish out of a flat bottom boat off the bank. He taught me how to clean my fish. And then I thought that was the neatest thing in the world. And then the next batch of fish he caught, he said, Susan, come here and clean these fish. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
He taught me, and now I was required to clean his fish. So those are moments in our life, Jack, that right now you may or you may not count them as something big in your life, but as you grow older, I know you're going to count it and cherish these moments with your dad. And I love your aquarium in your bedroom. I love this tank behind you. I love watching even the yard work that you all did together.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff about conservation too, because, you know, part of wellness is just doing good things to the planet. I mean, part of the reason some of these viruses came about and spread is because some of the things that we've done to Mother Nature that weren't so great, you know. And so we share a lot of those things. Like we converted our house to solar. We have wood burners. We have all electric cars now, appliances, tools, yard. And so we share some of those things. And it's amazing because a lot of those companies have even reached out to us and sent us some free stuff and asked us to review other products. And I think the father-son aspect is nice, and they like that. And it's just what we would do anyway. Like I've never been the kind of dad. I mean, even Jack's grandfather, you know, we did not have a magnificent relationship. He was not the nicest guy to me and my brothers, but me and my brothers looked at that and we kind of said, we're going to do things a little bit different. And we're very strict and we're very old school, but we're a little more loving and caring and nurturing than he was, just because he was really old school. And I think that there were some things that he carried with him from Vietnam and stuff like that that he just never dealt with, you know?
There's a difference between being strict and being mean.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There is. And then when you've experienced those things, then you can have knowledge and understanding will give you compassion, and compassion will cause you to just mold some of the things that you had in your past to improve on. And the wellness, I want to call it a ministry that you have, is just amazing because it doesn't just fit one scale. It, you all are, I think, vegans. Are you
Yeah,
vegan?
we're plant-based. Yeah.
Yeah, plant-based. And see, I'm not familiar with the exact term, so forgive me if I
That's okay.
mistitled it. But just knowing how you can care for this body, so
Yeah.
that this body can take care of the good planet that we have, and how to, and you undoubtedly realize and count it important that one person can make a difference. And if we multiply that one person making a difference, wow,
Yeah.
we'll
It's
have quite
great.
a community of people.
Well, there's always a little bit of, when we started this YouTube thing, and especially when we started to grow, some of our videos got picked up by news channels and by other big websites, and some of them went viral. And it was really nice and it was awesome. And it brought a lot of people, and people like Daniel and other people who have been doing this. They said, the bigger you get and the more you spread, you're going to get some negativity and you're going to get some nasty people. And that's happened, and that's okay. We're fully aware of that. I've been, let's just take a look at things. I mean, 30 years ago, there wasn't a lot of guy nurses, period. And I started in nursing. Sure, I've been through it all. I've been called names. I've been everything.
Right, exactly.
At the end of the day, you know who you are,
Yep.
and that's it. Jack went through a period. We both took jujitsu and judo and everything. He went through a period of being bullied, and he tossed the dude on his can in a judo throw, and now the dude's his friend. You know what I mean? We don't put up with it. We don't tolerate it, but we certainly don't feed into it. It's not, it's there. You can't rationalize with an irrational person. I told myself that a long time ago. And, at the end of the day, what we do, if people have something to say like, oh, it isn't healthy being vegan, or it isn't whatever, that's fine. I mean, I didn't spend 30 years studying this and teaching it to other people because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? This company that makes, $400 million a year didn't hire me to run their wellness program because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not saving them money. I mean, we know what we're doing, and we try to help other people and teach these people these things. Look at Daniel, always with the awesome pods. Thanks, Daniel. You're the best, man. You're the best, man. It's just, if people are going to be negative or whatever, we just delete. See you later, man. We don't have time for that,
And here's the thing. People like, I don't know if any of you are familiar with That Vegan Teacher, but there's people that are going to, distribute their message in not the correct ways. People are not going to listen to you if you're mean.
If you're nasty,
or if you're stupid and you don't, if you're mean. I
learned a long time ago, I got into an argument with some guy because we did a video on like Beyond Beef, and we were basically just trying to show that, even gas stations now are serving these types of foods, and we were basically sharing it, and we were saying, hey, look, this is amazing. And we do a breakdown. We're like, it's still got some saturated fat, but it doesn't have cholesterol. And we kind of take people. And, this guy was like, I'm a chef and this stuff's awful. And I said, well, don't eat it, man. I don't know what to tell you. But, I know that I've worked with people for 30 years now, and I've helped them to increase the quality of their life, reduce their medications. Some of them get off their medications completely. Most of them, honestly. And people, I've worked with people that were crouched over in wheelchairs with ankylosing spondylosis that are running on treadmills now. So I know what I've done, and I know the people that I've helped, and we pass that over onto our YouTube channel because, we want to, we want to help people. And for people that just want to be negative or nasty, delete. We don't care. There's people that went on his video after thousands and thousands of comments of, hey, this is such a great thing.
Thanks for sharing the link, by the way.
And thanks so much. And then they made like a negative comment like, this is fish abuse. Well, I don't know. Those clown loaches look pretty happy to me. They're fat. They're trying to reproduce. They're eating. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's going to think or do or say something.
Right, do they look like they're not happy? No.
Yeah. So we just let it go. We just let it go. Like, we just let it go because it just doesn't matter. And, oh, you have ankylosing spondylosis, Mr. Fisher. Well, that is a horrible disease. I work with a lot of people who have that disease, who also have ALS, MS, MD, rheumatoid arthritis, all of these diseases. And most of them are medical personnel, and I try to help them. One of the main things that we have found, and this is why we push the fish tanks and have this hobby and talk so much about it in relation to wellness, is so many people are dealing with stress, either their job or their life or whatever it is. And one of the main things I teach people when they go through tobacco cessation is you cannot look for a distraction if you want to quit smoking or quit an addiction. You have to find a coping mechanism.
Or how?
Yeah.
You can't do something. You can't.
You
do
have
something,
to. Go ahead, Jack.
Sorry, I was gonna say, you can't do something that hurts you because eventually, you're really not enjoying it. It's something like get a fish, get a dog, get something that you like to do.
Get a garden, get some plants,
Right.
get some herbs, get some. I talk to people and they say, "Oh, ever since I quit smoking, my house has never been so clean." And I say, "Well, that's great, but sooner or later you're going to run out of things to clean, and then you're going to start smoking again."
Right,
So that's a distraction, but that's not a coping mechanism. That's something everybody has to do. We all got to clean.
It's supposed to be something. It's not supposed to be a distraction. It's supposed to be something you want to
Something you love, something you love. And the reason we like to introduce people to the aquarium hobby, and if you want to get a big crazy design with a penthouse vacuum sticking out to the ceiling and bridges and all that crazy stuff, sure, you can do that. Or you can just get a little 5-gallon tank like Vinny just did a little 5-gallon tank that he just uploaded a few hours ago we were looking at. That's a great tank. If you've got a desk job and you're at work and you're stressed out, get a little tank, put some coolie loaches in there, put a beta in there. One of the bosses that I work with for the company, big executive, and I got a little tank and put a little, it's like about a 10-gallon, and it's got plants coming out the top and it's got a beta in it. And she says, "You know what? When I get stressed out, I shut everything off. I look at my fish for 5 or 10 minutes. I eat a little healthy snack, some hummus and cucumbers or whatever, and then I go back to work, and I don't have to go outside and smoke anymore because I have another way of dealing with that." You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. And I've never found a hobby in my life that has been so amazing and plus what it does to your home. I mean, this tank right here is in the middle of our house. Every time we walk around our house or do anything,
it produces, like, especially if you have plants on it, it produces like oxygen. Like, it's always good, especially if you live like an apartment and stuff. Like when I get older, I'll definitely have a plant in my house because then it produces like your own kind of oxygen and stuff like that. It's always healthy to have something like that.
Yeah, it's just awesome. It's awesome. It's so awesome. We're the kind of guys. We used to have a tank room at the old house. I had like a basement. And what we said is, in this house, we're not going to do a tank room. I mean, this room will inevitably have more tanks in it, but we're going to make it like a tank house. So like every room in this house is going to inevitably have a setup of a tank or two.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is like, I feel like kudos to you if you have a fish room. It's cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, at that point, I feel like you're kind of making it like, it's not enjoyable. Like if you have that room closed off from the rest of your house, it's not like you walk through one room and, you see it, because you have to go through that room and stuff like that. But whereas if you have them throughout your house, you're like, oh, that's cool.
And some people like Andy Woods, who is like one of our favorite YouTuber of all time, Andy Woods.
Yeah.
He's got a fish room, a fish shed, fish tanks in his bedrooms. I mean, I don't think anybody has as many tanks as some of these guys. It's unbelievable. But plus the charisma and the wonderful personalities that all of these fish tubers have. They're so fun. Oh, Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. It just depends on how your house is or whatever things are. But I think it's just so amazing. It's such an awesome thing. we're going to just keep going. We're just going to keep going with it. I always had tanks no matter where I lived. We've been here, like I said, for quite a few years now, and we're going to keep adding.
Been about 8, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. We're going to keep adding. We're going to keep doing more.
I don't know. You told me with that when I was like 8.
And, you know, we hope to connect with more people. We want to try to meet up with other people and do tours of their fish rooms and their aquariums. We're going to start doing more tours of our LFSs now that the virus is subsiding a little bit, and more places like Ohio Fish Rescue and other places like that. And like I said, we're really looking forward to meeting up with Father Fish again on Jack's spring break. We're going to try to go early in the morning on the day that we visit him so we can just do a stream with him, you know. That would be really fun.
April or May, something like that?
Yeah, first week of April.
First week of April. How many years, Dan, have you been keeping fish? I know Jack says since he was born, but
I had a 10-gallon aquarium with an angelfish in it in the dining room when I was 5 years old. And we were talking a little bit about this on a recent, some videos we recently talked about. There was a guy that had an auto parts store at the corner of our street, and he had a big, huge tank that had like swordtails and stuff in it. And it was planted. It was nice. And we used to go down there all the time. Me and my brothers, we could like skateboard down there or walk down there. And there was like a Mr. Hero. There was a Convenient, you know, and there was an auto parts store, and it had like one of those old Coke machines with like a quarter where you put the bottle out of it. Yeah. I know I sound old, right? And then you could take the bottle back and put it back in. You got like 5 cents back. Jack's like, I have no idea. But yeah, and that's right, Flynn. That's one of the things I talk about too. And we talked about this on the big OFR stream, is if you look at any hospital, any dentist's office, any doctor's office, they all have, in fact, I have an old nursing book that's like a phone book. It's a nursing diagnosis book. And one of the main nursing interventions for people that have heart disease and high blood pressure is to suggest that they get an aquarium. I read that 32 years ago when I was in nursing school, and I thought, wow, that's such a great thing. When I used to work in the facilities, I used to do fish tanks for the facilities. Me and some of the other guys, we put fish tanks in the activities room. And all that. Does Jack still have? Yeah. So his tank, actually, if you wanna do an update on that, his tanks now, it's 3 fish tanks and 2 bridges. And one of the bridges we made with a hurricane, and one of them we made out of a vase. We did the trick that they did on Tanked, where the guy's name is Bob or Rob, but he goes by Redneck on the show Tanked when it was on. I don't know if you remember Robbie Redneck, and he was the guy. And he took these bottles and he put twine around them and nail polish remover, and he lit it on fire and heated it and put it in water so the bottoms fell off. And we did that to that other vase and made that second bridge just to see if it worked, and it totally worked. It was really cool, and we did videos on that. But the reason that we made those bridge tanks is because Jack had 3 different level dressers. And so we couldn't put a larger tank in there because they were different levels. And we said, well, we have these other tanks. Let's just connect them. And it was something that I'd done in the past. And King of DIY did it. He did it with like a square glass thing. And that was about 4 or 5 years ago. And he actually he put a challenge out there. Let me know if you've tried this. I did put a comment in there, but it was so long ago that he posted. I don't know if he looked, but I said, hey, we actually did this if you want to check it out. And here's the really cool part. Let me get this right here. Hang on. So this is, nobody knows about this yet, but we're going to, oh yeah, there's his tank now. So this is, oh yeah, that was the last one. We did a bunch of updates. We put some meteorite lights on it. We like to do cool lighting. So he's got a globe, he's got a moon. We put meteorite lights on it. We put track lighting and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's amazing.
It's a lot of fun because he's got a lot of night lights. We like to do night lights. But speaking of that bridge, right here in this box. So a lot of people, you see this is kind of big, but a lot of people said to us, you know, when I used to design these tanks, yeah, that's what this is. Okay. I didn't open it yet. But a lot of people said to us, you know, how come you never patented any of your designs, or how come you never like copyrighted any? Well, I was in a band a long time ago, and I learned a lot about patents and copywriting and all that kind of stuff. And it's not as easy to do as people think, for one thing. Secondly, a lot of times you can get stuff knocked off. So this guy actually emailed us who saw some of our videos.
And it's weird because we wouldn't make a patent. It's PVC pipe in a vase.
Right. Like we would just rather show people how to make it themselves.
that.
You know what I mean? We just want to show people how to do these kind of things and be creative. And again, we've got a lot more ideas that we're going to do too. But anyway, this guy, his name's Mark, and he lives in Buffalo, New York, and he's an inventor. And he actually already has a patent on the Aqua Bridge. And he has this patent from like 25 years ago, and it's in this box. This is the last one in existence.
Wow.
And he actually sent it to us. This is
right.
the original. It's 22 years old. It's still in the package. I didn't even open the box yet. He patented this, and he
like
called,
a spider in there.
and he called it the Aqua Trail. And it's a little bit different than our design, but he went around all around New York and all around surrounding states, and he got a patent for this. And he, wait till you see these pictures. I'm going to upload them in a video. And he had stands in pet stores and aquarium stores where he had this piping and everything in a box, in a bag, and he sold them. And he sold like thousands of them.
Wow.
He sold thousands of them. And he sold them for like $19.99 or whatever. And he basically what he did, his name's Mark Schmidt, really, really, really cool guy. And he's invented and patented a lot of other stuff. This didn't go incredibly well for him. What happened is, what did he tell us? That a company in China made like a knockoff of it and basically kind of started selling them. And he just, you know, he tried to get lawyers involved, but he goes, hey, there's 2 billion people in China. Like, I sent all this stuff over there. They just didn't.
You're not gonna find.
Yeah, they just didn't answer. They were like, whatever.
It's always the hackers.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, so, you know, that's why when a lot of people ask us, like, why don't you patent this Aqua Cave, or why don't you do, you know what, we're not interested in that. We just want to share the ideas with people. We want people to be creative. We want people to think a little bit outside the box. I mean, for heaven's sake, don't put your, like, we've seen some crazy stuff on YouTube where people made, you know, little crazy aquariums that are ridiculous. Vinny did a whole segment on that. You know, Vinny's aquarium. I mean, he does a lot of good videos like that. Vinny's Aquatics. But, you know, like, it's just not why we did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm not out to be an inventor or to patent something. I just want to share our ideas that we think up with other people. And thousands and thousands of people have reached out to us, and they said, hey, we put a bridge on our tanks.
We might not even use that. We might just like use that as a souvenir.
Yeah. But anyway, he sent us 2 of them. There's supposed to be 2 in here. We're going to be doing a video on this, the original one. And and we're going to do a video. And what he said is, he said, if people are interested and they do want to buy them, they'll be able to buy them. So we're going to have links and everything if people want to support it. Now, this guy, he's a really interesting guy. We talked to him for like 2 hours on the phone. And what he did is he bought all this property, and he's got like, what did he say, 200 acres in like New York or something?
Yeah, he has a lot of land.
Wow.
And he's got this massive man-made lake, and he's breeding.
Well, it's a lake. No.
What he's doing, he's really big into conservation and health and stuff too. And he's going to be breeding trout. Rainbow trout are higher in omega-3s than just like any other fish. A lot of people don't know that, because they eat like algae, kelp, and seaweed and stuff like that. And they're one of the healthiest because they come from like mountain streams when the ocean has a lot of BPA and mercury now and stuff like that. So anyway, he's going to start breeding these guys, and they're going to be like organic, non-GMO. He's going to feed them like the algae and the kelp and the seaweed. And they're just going to this huge, and he's going to supply all of these restaurants in New York with like these fish at a decent price.
He's gonna, like, farm them, but like peaceful.
Yeah, he's going to farm them, but he's going to do it in like a very natural way and everything right there in New York. It's crazy. And he wants us to come and see this. He invited us to come, and he's like, I think this dude is pretty wealthy. I mean, he's got like
That's a lot of space. That's a lot of space.
Yeah.
200
acres in New York, in Buffalo, New York. And he goes, hey, you could stay in my guest house by the lake or whatever. And so
we set up like kings.
Yeah. So if we go do all these adventures and stuff, you know, we're definitely going to document them and make videos out of them and share them. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So do you do video announcements when you schedule things, or do you have an area where we can look at your upcoming projects and dates? And
no, Nah, we just like to surprise people.
Yeah, we don't do like heads up like a lot of people do. We don't put like scheduled for this time. We just kind of put it out there.
Daniel, keeping fish, you got to go. Yeah, man, we do. There's so many people that we've reached out to that want us to meet them. People in Vegas. I mean, we met Brett. Brett wants to connect and meet Jack, but ever since we went back, you know, the COVID thing was going on. Meeting Brett was like, that was unbelievable. I mean, that was one of the coolest things ever because I watched that show for like, 12 years.
Right.
And we sent him our videos and he was like, wow. And the thing that was weird is the timing was weird because the show stopped right around the time we started. And so we sent them a bunch of our videos and they were really cool. And I told Jack, we did like one video. And if you look at our first video, it's this tank, but it has a penthouse coming out the top to the ceiling. It's kind of a neat design. And if you look at that video, it's really cool. If you ever heard of a little YouTuber by the name of Foo the Flower Horn, he's like the biggest fish tuber in the world.
He has about,
I think he's got 2 million subscribers or something.
3 million. Last time he just goes a million.
He goes up and down. Anyway, he makes really amazing videos. Really, really, really awesome. And I love reading the comments. But anyway, he said that he made a comment on our video, and it was like we literally had just started our channel, posted one video, had like 5 views on it, 2 comments, and then I woke up and I checked it, and there was Foo the Flower Horn, and he said, "Wow, what a creative design! Great job, guys!" And I showed it to Jack, and I go, "Dude, look at this," And I thought, how did this guy even find us? Like, of the billions of aquarium videos,
we only had like,
it was like 5 subscribers.
Yeah,
it was like nothing.
I can't really remember. Yeah, it wasn't that much.
And so I was like, yeah, Foo, yeah, big time fish keeper. I mean, everybody knows Foo. He's amazing. He makes some of the most creative, coolest aquarium videos.
Because he doesn't like talk. He just like does a time lapse sometimes. Then he does like a actual video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does amazing stuff. And we've done a few like his, like slow motion stuff and music and stuff, but we try to mix it up. But anyway, so what happened is he made a comment. And when he did, that really kind of encouraged us to keep going. We thought, wow, how cool is that? And that video has something like 20 or 30,000 views or something now, because it's been a while. But, we just enjoy it. We love it. And it was really cool to connect with people like that. And we'd love to talk to Joey. We've sent him some things we've never heard back. Love to do a project with him sometime.
How many subscribers does he have?
I think he's got like 1.5 million.
Yeah.
But if we took the stuff in Jack's head and the stuff in my head and the stuff in Joey's head, we can make some pretty crazy aquariums. I'm sure of that. But
well, tell me about the one that's behind you with all of those beautiful blood parrots in it.
Yeah. So this actually, I could kind of show you a little better. So up at the top here, we used to have an aquarium that was on top of this one coming out. We removed that because we wanted to make more room. Yeah. So those are really long pieces of bamboo. And that bamboo goes all the way down into these fish bowls. And the reason we have them in the fish bowls is because this young lady right here, this is Ayastigi, and she is Jack's turtle. She's a red-eared slider. He raised her from a tiny little baby. She was in a tank in his room, and then we moved her out here. And there were other ones with her, but she is not. She totally gets along with the fish. She loves her fish friends. She's grown up with these fish.
Even fed her crayfish, which are like popularly known to be eaten by.
Yeah, we actually were going to do a video feeding her a crayfish just to see what happened.
And there were 2 of them, and they just crawled on.
They crawled all over her. They snapped her with their snappers, and she just like wasn't interested. And we didn't even feed her for 2 days to try to get her to.
We fed her after. Yeah, don't worry. But
yeah.
So that she'd be really hungry and like mad, so that she would try to eat them. But no, she didn't do anything.
So anyway, what we did is we built this, and this is a design that I've been using for a long time. It's called an aqua cave. So this tank here is a 12-gallon long. And what we did is we drilled holes in it, and we've done quite a few videos on how we made this. And we drilled holes in it, and we put air in it. So if she goes up inside here, which she learned how to do in a matter of like a week, And so she goes up there and she sleeps in there and stuff. And she has a constant supply of oxygen. And then the reason that we did this,
That was George.
and that's George, probably because Pamela's here and he's freaking out. And so the reason we did that, as you can see, so the fish can swim all around it. Normally, when you have a turtle in an aquarium, you'd have to leave the water down to give them an area to bask. And so we thought of this aqua cave idea to give her an area where she can hang out. And we've done a ton of different videos on this, and we have some under gravel lights and things. We always do under gravel lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, we did. I mean, it does look cool though, those fish bowls, but she really can't get in there to dig up the plants then. Yeah.
So that's just one thing, and we change it around a lot. But the aqua cave, she's about outgrown it, and a lot of people have said, that's not really a dry basking area. Well, she does dry out pretty good in there, believe it or not. It does have a little moisture, and we do take her out. We let her run around the house. I actually did a couple of videos showing her running around my office during the day. I have a carpeted office, and I have a UV light and a heater going at my feet because it's a cold corner of the house, and she actually hangs out. We've done a couple of short videos with her sleeping on my slippers during the day when I'm working.
She's like a dog that doesn't bark and she's not as big.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Do you have a product list anywhere, or do you list them in the video? Like, I'm interested in your under substrate lighting you put in. Of course, I know about the track lighting. You can get that at Walmart or Home Depot.
Whenever we do a video, we always put the links in a description of, I think we did a series of videos on what's called jacked tanks.
Yes, I think I've seen some of them.
And those were tanks that we put under gravel lighting on for other folks. And we just put little links in the description. And basically what it is it's just little puck lights. You can buy them on Amazon or get them on Lowe's.com. And they're 10 or 20 bucks. They're very cheap. They're very inexpensive. And basically we just kind of show how we put them on and stuff. Okay.
Thank you.
What happens with Pamela is she comes home and she has to finish talking to her clients in the garage before she comes in the house. And then the dogs go crazy.
So how many pets do you all have now? Can you name them all tonight?
Well, I mean, just Lacey. Lacey's our dog,
Yeah.
And
George is Pam's dog.
Pamela has a wiener dog as well, and his name is George Costanza.
And he acts like him, except more jealous.
Yeah.
More petty.
But
how many turtles does Jack have?
So only one. So we did a video recently where we did an update on his tank. It might be that one that you showed, the update on the bridge tanks. What we did is we weren't sure, with the housing market being the way that it was, that we were going to stay here. We weren't exactly sure. We were kind of on the fence about it.
Okay.
So inevitably, right here
You're going crazy.
in this part of the house, that whole wall there, we actually want to put like an indoor pond along that whole wall.
Uh-huh.
It would be really neat. But the thing is we didn't want to start investing in that and working on that if we weren't going to stay here. So being that wintertime was coming, we had one of our subscribers reach out to us that lived about an hour away in a really nice area, and he had a huge pond. And it's called Oberlin. It's by us. It's about 45 minutes away. And he had a big, huge pond, and he had some soft-shell turtles and regular turtles, and it's very secluded. And he said, if you're not sure what you want to do with the turtles, or if you're not sure if you're going to move, he said, I would gladly take them off your hands. And he actually offered to pay us, but we didn't really want to be paid. We said we just want to have them have a good home. So he took those. Now we had about 6 of them, and they got pretty big, and what happened is he took those guys, but there was one turtle that was left over, and we named him Squirt.
Yeah,
and
he didn't really get that big.
Yeah, he was a runt, and we talked a lot about Squirt in videos. Squirt's got kind of like a metabolic issue. He didn't grow like the other guys did. And so since he didn't grow, we kept him because we didn't want to release him in nature.
Right, to keep him safe, we wanted to help him and help him grow and stuff like that, get bigger.
We did take him to a veterinarian a while ago, and he said, look, this turtle is just, he probably would have gotten picked off in nature. The only reason he survived is because you guys have him, you know.
Yeah.
And basically, we decided to keep him. And we don't know if he's going to live very long. He might not live much longer. The veterinarian suggested maybe giving him some vitamins and stuff, and we did some of that stuff. But ultimately, he's just a sickly little guy, and he probably won't really survive super long. Hey, see you later, Daniel Keeping Fish. I'm so glad you came, man. Yeah, you better get to bed, dude. Thanks a lot for coming, though. That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Daniel.
But basically, so at this point in time, the only turtle that's in there is Squirt. We thought, since we didn't really know what we were going to do, we would give those guys those turtles before it got to be too cold so that they could adjust to hibernating and all that stuff, you know. And he said they're doing fine. He said they're doing fine, and he has other turtles like them, and they're totally fine. So we thought we would rather do that. And so the only turtle in that tank now is Squirt. And again, we don't know how much longer he's going to live because he's not really growing. You know, he has a UV light. We're doing everything we're supposed to do. But like I said, the vet made it pretty clear that he simply is just like a runt. You know what I mean?
Right. So Jack, you have gouramis. What else is in the gourami tank?
There are candy cane.
Candy cane tetra.
Tetra. That's right. Candy cane tetra. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I think they should call it peppermint tetra because they're the size of peppermints. But so yeah, I have those, and I have a couple albino plecos. Correct?
Yeah, you've got albino female and male bristlenose, and they do reproduce, and we kind of take those babies and trade them in a lot of times. But one of our favorite fish of all time in Jack's tank is the striated loaches. We have a huge family of about 15 striated loaches. And I almost like striated loaches better than I like clown loaches. And I think Jack does too.
Yeah.
They're smaller, you know.
I kind of like clown loaches more. I feel like they look, I don't know, they look mightier.
They get bigger, right?
I don't know how to explain it.
They do get bigger than a clown loach?
Yeah, they
Not really. They're a little bit longer, and they don't really get as thick, and they don't get as big.
Yeah, our clown loach right here though is
yeah, that one's pretty big.
It's pretty big.
That one's about 7 or 8 years old.
I have those yo-yo loaches.
Yeah, those get pretty big.
Yeah, my biggest one's almost 6 inches long.
Oh yeah, and I've seen clown loaches like get huge. It was funny because a lot of people made comments on that one video of Jack's that kind of went viral with the bridges. People made all these comments like, those clown loaches, that tank's too small for those clown loaches. And I was like, well, first of all, they take about 20 years to grow, so don't worry about it. Secondly, we got other tanks.
Yeah.
But we basically put them in there as a grow out.
Yeah, I was trying to say some people that do not people that like say things that are not true about our channel or ask obvious questions, or just people that had not watched our videos completely.
Right. They don't listen that this is a temporary situation, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen on Corey's channel, I called them puppy dogs because by the time those clown loaches, he got different size clown loaches in his 800 gallon.
Yeah.
And I said, those are puppy dogs. Those are not fish.
Yeah. Clown loaches have always been a favorite, but I love striated loaches. And the reason I like striated is because they stay small and they're really nice in a big group. We did a video for Christmas where we played some Christmas music and we just showed the candy cane, tetra, and the striated loaches. And the striated loaches, I think they're almost more clowny than the clown loaches are. They're hilarious to watch, but you just...
A lot of activity and entertainment.
They're so fun, but you really got to get up close and you got to look at them in a smaller tank because they're just smaller, you know. But he's got like 15 of those in there. And then, of course, the golden gouramis, and he calls his golden gouramis the golden girls because they're all ladies. But we recently put a male in there.
Yes, we did. Which, did we name him?
Stanley.
Stanley, yes.
Off the Golden Girls.
I forgot. I knew the fish. I just forgot Stanley's name.
Poor Stanley.
So he's growing and he's starting to hang out with the females a little more. And I think what we're ultimately going to do, because I don't think Squirt has much longer for this world. And so when Squirt passes away, I mean, we're happy that we were able to give him a wonderful life. He lived about 1.5 years, much longer. In nature, he probably would have been picked off in a week.
Right.
And he's just, he just was unfortunately an unhealthy little guy. And we built him his own tank and we separated him from the other turtles. But then he did a little better and we ultimately put him back in. And then that became the puffer tank. And so he's got the 2 puffers in there, Hal Jordan and John Stewart. We named those 2 after the Green Lantern because we named pretty much all of our fish except for the Golden Girls. We name them after like superheroes.
Okay.
Like Cap, our beta's name is Cap after Captain America.
That's a beautiful beta too.
Yeah, like pop culture references and stuff.
And so we're going to be getting females this weekend, and we're going to be naming all of the female betas after female Marvel superheroes. Maybe some DC ones we'll have to see. And we did talk to Mary. We gave Mary a little spoiler because Mary we just love Mary Page Flynn. She's just one of the most magnificent YouTubers.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really touched us a lot was she reached out to us, and she has a grandson, and her grandson is a big fan of Jack's, and they watched a lot of our aquariums, and she started getting more into aquariums again. And we told her, we said, you need to start a channel. You will really like it. It'll be a lot of fun. And she inevitably did start a channel. And now she has a channel and she's posting videos. And Big Time Fish Keeper said I bought 2 golden gourami last week. We love golden gourami. Let me tell you something. People sometimes are like, we got to get the fancy fish. In our opinion, golden gourami are the only tropical fish that is actually gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like they call goldfish gold, they're orange.
Yeah. I mean, they're all beautiful, but we love golden gourami. And of course, they've got the little antennas and stuff.
I like
and
samurai gouramis too. They're cool.
I mean, all gouramis are neat. But anyway, so we told Mary, we said, we're going to do a special dedication for you. This female tank, one of these female betas, we're going to name after Mary. But we're not really breaking our rule because there is a superhero named Mary. A lot of people don't know that DC, if you watch the Shazam movie, Shazam's sister's name is Mary, and she went by Lady Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
And her name is Mary Bromfield, I want to say, if I remember right. So anyway, we're gonna name that one of those. So we're gonna get about 3 of them, and we're gonna have them in that princess tank with the big long fin plecos and that. And then we're gonna try to start breeding Cap because he's getting kind of old, and we want to breed him before he passes away. But yeah, Big Time Fish Keeper, awesome. He's got a big sale, Flynn. He was commenting here. I didn't mean to ignore you, man. We're just going on and rambling. These actually are sailfin. They're not leopard plecos, but they are sailfin. And one of the sails, we had 2 big sailfins, and we got them both, and they were about half this size. We got them both for our LFS. Somebody turned them in. One of them didn't have a fin, and we don't know what happened. Somebody turned him in, and they gave us him for free. They gave us the other one for a few bucks, and they were in here for a long time. And finally he passed away, because of that deformity or whatever reason. And then ultimately, Mary Jane from Spider-Man. Yeah, but she's not really a hero. She's not really a superhero, but yeah, we love Mary Jane. But ultimately, that's our guy now. He's about twice the size as when we got him. And then when we were at OFR, when did we get this other one? I mean, it's been like 9-10 months ago.
Yeah, I like how plecos, they kind of look like leviathans. Like they have
so amazing, such gorgeous fish, and they're
like dragons. Yeah, they kind of. That's why I named our old one Toothless, because he looked like a Night Fury from How to Train Your Dragon.
But that one, we got the bigger one that we thought was a female. We got from Ohio Fish Rescue because somebody brought her in, and people get plecos and they just get too big, and so we did a series of videos where we put a big cave up here and we tried to get these 2 big sail fins to reproduce. And if this is a male, which we think, she was just so much bigger than him, she wasn't interested. she would go in the cave and everything, but if he tried to go in there, she was just like, nope. And we do have an albino sailfin in here. We're not sure of the gender of that one, but that's only about that big. And there's actually a video coming up next Friday. We did a special video for Valentine's Day. We do some videos where we show the plecos kind of grooming Aya-Stygia, like they clean off her skin and her scales, and like reptiles, their skin will shed and they'll eat her skin. And we did some videos showing them grooming her, and she just sits there and lets them. It's the coolest thing. But I had a couple.
Very nice girl.
Yeah, she just loves her fish friends. But there's a couple where they kind of kiss her right on the face, and she just kind of lets them. She just kind of will pull away if they get a little too by her eye. But anyway, we put a little conglomerate. It's only like a minute long. We made a short out of it, and it's going to be coming up for Valentine's Day, like next Friday, because we thought it was so cute how they kiss her on the face, and she just kind of lets them,
That's sweet. That is so sweet. I had a feeling you named all of your fish, and you have is that a rope fish in there, or?
Yeah, so there's actually 6 big rope fish in here, but there's so many hiding places that we have built in underneath these, and they go down in these globes. So the rope fish are about 3 years old, actually 4 years old maybe. They used to be in a tank in Jack's room, and they got big, and we put them in here. And I thought about taking them out and putting them in the bridge tanks, because I think it would be cool to see them go through the bridges and stuff, Yeah. And they would probably hang out in the bridges and stuff like that. And then maybe we'd have a little more room in here. We move stuff around all the time, but wherever the guys need to be. But we've always liked rope fish, and they do so well in here. They just do so well in here. Everything in here gets along. And we have up here's an electric blue. We have a male electric blue. And we have a female electric blue cichlid, and they reproduce. And the babies go down here in this lava rock, and they kind of hide in there, and they grow in there. And then when they get bigger, we take them out. We trade them in at the local fish store and stuff like that. There's all the clown loaches. Look at all the clown loaches right behind Jack. They're all snuck. Duck your head down for a minute. Look at them all right here coming up, kind of digging in. There's like 13 of them in there. And they kind of follow around in these big groups, and they go down in there. The cool part about the lava rock is it's very light, and the big clown loach will actually grab it with her mouth. We did a little video on this. She just picks them up and moves them, even though they're the same size as her. And she picks them up and moves them, and then all the little guys will go in the hole that she makes and clean up and stuff. It's just this tank is just fascinating.
I love it.
We have 4 recliners on the other side here facing it. And when people come here, in fact, Pamela's upset because we're doing this right now. Usually if she comes home, her first place she goes is right here in this recliner, and she'll sit here and watch the tank. Come and say hi. Come and say hi, Pamela. Come and say hi to Susan.
Hi.
There
Hi,
she is.
Pamela.
Hi, Susan.
Isn't your favorite place right across from this tank when you come home?
Yeah, I got my Marvel hat.
She's got her Marvel hat on.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, sweetheart.
I love them. They greet me. They'll probably all come over here right now. Watch.
She comes in and she goes to the fish tank before she even says hi to me or Jack.
Don't look at
In fact, I think George Costanza is starting to hate the fish.
Hi.
Come here, George. Let me see where George is. Come here, buddy.
Hi, everybody.
Come here, dude. Oh, let me get George. Hang on. Come here, dude.
Hi.
Put that in. Come here, dude. Come here, dude.
These kisses from everybody.
There's George. Oh, there's George.
Oh, look at the baby.
Get the earphones in.
Costanza.
Yeah, the dogs get. Oh, see, he's happy.
Uh-huh.
The dogs get very, very jealous of the fish tank because they're wieners and they're very short, and they have to look way up at the fish tanks. But that's one of the reasons that we made the princess tank, is because it's on the ground. And so they always, whenever I go in the bedroom, they're sitting there looking at the fish tank, the princess tank, because it's on their level. And that's one of the reasons we made it for them. And they just watch those plecos, especially at night, because the plecos like to come out at night.
Yeah.
And they sit there at night when that little night light is on, and they just watch those plecos for hours. It's so funny. And when we put the lady betas in there, they'll probably really be watching it. It's funny. Say hi, George. George is so funny. Say hi.
Hey, George. You're beautiful.
He just got groomed finally.
Well, he needs a little more grooming. I like to throw him up. He likes to be thrown up like a baby, don't you?
He looks like he got groomed.
Lacey won't let me do that. She's too muscular. She's kind of tough. She's like, whatever.
Do it again.
It's tense.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's kind of fun. So they're getting along. We do have some bad news. We're going to be releasing in a video coming up. One of the questions that we mainly asked is what was Lacey's boyfriend's name, and her boyfriend's name was Caesar, and we did a video on Caesar, and he's a real big white German Shepherd, and they've been friends their whole lives. He's one of our friends is a firefighter, and he got Caesar. Anyway, we were going to have Caesar come over and shoot the conclusion of the giveaway video and pick a winner and everything with Lacey. And unfortunately, Caesar got a very, very, very aggressive, fast type of bladder cancer. And he got sick so fast that Jeff actually put him to sleep today. And it was very sudden and it was very shocking. And so unfortunately, that really, really stinks. Because they're fighting in there. But one of the nice things is I actually FaceTime Jeff, and Lacey and Caesar got to see each other via FaceTime one more time. But they just, I'll tell you, these two dogs, Caesar was 10 times the size of Lacey, but she's just that kind of gal. And they were in love. She never, ever, ever treated another dog the way that she did Caesar, and neither did Caesar. Come here, Lace. Come here and say hi. Oh, come here. And she just loves him. She was so crazy about him. And she just, hey, say hi.
Hi, Lacey.
Didn't you just love Caesar? She definitely seems to know. She's kind of sad today. And it's very sad. You know, it came out of nowhere. We had no idea that this was going on. Jeff didn't know. And he just wanted to put him out of his misery because he started suffering very badly. Yeah. So that's the sad part. You know, when you have these lovely, wonderful animals, the only animal in this house that's going to outlive us is probably Aya-Stigi. She might live for a very long time, but unfortunately, or maybe those rope fish, some of these, oh, look at, are we keeping you bored? Was that a big yawn? She's like, But
sorry to hear about Caesar, and may he cross that rainbow bridge and just run wild and free.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, he was a very special dog. Everyone in the neighborhood, everyone that knew Jeff, he took him to the fire station. Everyone at the fire station and for the city knew Caesar. He never wore a leash ever in his life. That's the kind of dog he was. Never wore a leash once in his life. Was an amazing dog. And him and Lacey just bonded from day one. And anyway, that's going to be a very sad video to make. You all are hearing it now, but everybody else is going to hear it then. And, you know, that's okay. These things happen. And that's part of having animals, is learning about the mortality of living things and understanding that, you know, we can take really, really good care of each other and of our animals, and the best we can do. And it is kind of hurtful when people say things like, you know, there's people that have made comments like, oh, you shouldn't have a lava rock. It's going to cut your fish. Well, I've had lava rock for 45 years in my aquariums. I never cut any fish, you know. No. Yeah. So, you know, you have to understand that, like, those things are coming from somewhere, whatever. You got to ignore them.
Well, plus it's worn down. It's been in there for now, 5 years now.
So at the end of the day, you know that you're doing a good job taking care of your animals. You know that you're giving them an amazing home. You know that they're happy. And look at Lacey. That's her favorite place. Isn't that your favorite place? She's looking at the fish while I rub it.
He's using you to get up there to see the fish.
They love the fish tanks. But yeah, I mean, do you have cats, dogs too, or just fish?
I used to have a fur baby. He was a mutt. His name was Coda, and he was 11 years old, and his hips gave out on him. and he also had Cushing's disease for about
yeah.
3 or 4 years, and that was induced from a shot that the vet gave him for fleas. He calls it the flea shot, and there was enough uh, DNA in his makeup that was allergic to the flea shot, and it threw
Oh,
him into Cushing's disease.
that's
And
awful.
the doctors helped me treat that, and he snored like me.
I deal with a lot of people that have Cushing's syndrome and Cushing's disease. I deal with a lot of folks.
Yes, and his lungs already had crystallization in it, so
Mm.
his hips gave out on him, and he couldn't climb the steps up to the bedroom anymore. So for 3 nights, he and I slept in the floor downstairs before I cried myself to death and decided to do the humane thing, um, and just put him to rest. And it was hard. It was
Yeah.
very hard, but he wasn't the first one that I'd ever had. I'd had dogs and cats, and I have never had birds, but my grandparents had birds, and I picked up the fish just before Coda
Oh yeah,
passed away. So for 6 years, I've had fish now, and
that's great.
still got some guppies. And I just picked up some blue-eyed lemon plecos. A friend from Illinois,
Oh yeah, wow.
so I'm gonna enjoy them growing and hopefully breeding. And he brought me some of my baby peppered Cory cats. He picked up a trio from me a year and a half ago, and they've produced. And he brought me some of the offspring from them. So, and he brought me a dozen cherry shrimps. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, we thought about one of the racks, the big rack that's in my room with Cap and the princess tank. Now there's two smaller shelves in between, and we thought about we have a 5-gallon that somebody just gave us.
Your breast smells like
Yeah. We thought about doing maybe some shrimp in that one. Jack's been wanting blue crayfish. I used to breed blue crayfish a lot. One of the tanks actually in one of the facilities. Is that another yawn? Really?
Yeah.
She's like, that's enough. I'm ready for bed. A lot of the one of the nursing facilities I used to work at that I put a tank in. I did a big thing with blue crayfish, and that was so fun watching those tiny little blue crayfish, be born and all that kind of stuff. And it's super fun to do anything with any of these guys. I mean, it's super fun. We do a lot of videos on our snails. We're fascinated by our golden snails. I could watch those guys all day. They're so cool. We've done time lapses. We've done slow motion. We just want to share it with people and get it out there, just like you and everybody else who does this, is get people interested. The amazing part about this whole thing, there's employees that work for the company that watch our Wellness Wednesday videos.
Yeah, you work for your company. Yeah.
And then they start watching the aquarium ones, and they totally get into aquariums. They're like, oh, I had aquarium, and I said, that's the goal, is to try to get more of these people into this and get them interested. And maybe, maybe they don't want something as extravagant or experimental or big, but they can get something like this young lady that has one on her desk, or that I was talking about, or whatever, something to help them out. It's a great hobby. It's a great coping mechanism, and it's a good place to start. Jack, when Jack was born, I had one of those aquariums. It was like 5 gallons, but it was like this big, and it hung on a wall, and I hung it over his crib, and he basically would lay in his crib and look up at the wall, and it was on the wall. And his first fish ever was a Harlequin Rasboro. They were just easy, and they were cool.
And it had a pirate ship in it. It was like a thick picture frame.
It was a picture frame one, yeah. Wow. And he had that for years. In his room, and
it's
just
hard to remember now.
And it had lights in there. Yeah, it's hard to remember that long ago, right? And then, it was just nice. It's nice because I never had a TV in his room. A lot of kids have TVs in their room. And I said, you know what? I'd rather you have a fish tank in your room, and we'll do the lighting effects.
Yeah, remember I had one of those giant dinosaur robots?
Yeah, you did. One time I was at an estate sale, And it was one of those big triceratops that like moved and talked, and he could sit on it. And he had that in his room for a couple of years when he was like a baby.
It was sick.
And then we did a garage sale when we moved here, and we sold it. And I will never forget the family. They walked up, and the kid, they were driving down the street, and there was a kid about 3 years old and said, Mom, look. And it's so neat doing garage sales, because when you pass your stuff on to other people and you see that someone else is going to love that thing as much as you did. I'll never forget that dinosaur, loading that up in that lady's car. And it did the same thing with he had a little Transformers bike with tricycle wheels on it. And that kid made that kid's day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, made that kid's day. We love garage sales. And, you know, we do stuff like that anyway. And that's where we pick up a lot of our tanks. We pick up our tanks from people that don't want them, and we show people how to recondition them. So we have another box over there. We have a 125-gallon tank that we basically got for free. The frame was broken. We ordered a new frame. We're going to show people how to order frames, how to change the frame on it. You know, it's very simple. It's an easy thing to do. It's very inexpensive to do. And you can take a tank that would have cost you $500 brand new, and for $60, you can make it like it's new again.
Yeah.
You know, so we just try to show people this stuff to let them know you don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, you can have a big fish tank. You could find them on eBay. You could find them on Facebook. You can find them around. You could find them at garage sales. You could find them in the newspaper.
I agree with that. I called it the hobby, you know, doing fish on a hobby on a budget, because I loved Dustin's video. I don't know I think he ended up having to change the title of it, but he called it the Ghetto Tank, you know, and it was busted. And he took a CD jewel case and he glued it to the side of it, and then he put dirt out of his yard in the bottom of it and put some aquatic plants in it. And
that's awesome. Yeah.
That was the beginning of his, you know, his ghetto tank.
Actually, Cap's tank used to be the aqua cave in this tank, and I wanted to make it different. So his has holes in it, and we showed how we took plexiglass and super glued it to the hole. And that tank's been in my bedroom right over my bed for a year now and hasn't leaked yet. So, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to throw this tank out just because it's got a hole in it. We'll patch it, you know? So, you know, it's just kind of cool. Like the stuff you can do, the stuff you can learn. I mean, you don't want to have like 20 patch tanks. Chances are, especially if you live, you know, I talked to some folks that live in California and stuff on YouTube, and they're like, man, if there's an earthquake or whatever, you know, but you know, we live in a pretty cool place. I mean, we like Cleveland. There's no real natural disasters.
Like, oh, well, Cleveland's so stupid and cold, and it's got bad weather. And I'm like, well, we don't have earthquakes and
tornadoes and hurricanes.
Yeah. I mean, we do get some lake effect, and we do have some pretty nasty winters.
Have wildfires and you know, hurricanes and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty safe place overall, we think. You know.
Yeah.
Cleveland's a neat place. We haven't gone back to the aquarium. We're going to be doing a video. We talked to the guys at the aquarium and at the zoo. We're going to be doing some behind the scenes tours of the aquatic building at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, which is an amazing zoo.
Nice.
An amazing aquarium. And the aquarium is not huge here, but when I was a kid and I was Jack's age and I used to go to the aquarium, it was like one big, huge blue tank, and that was it. You know, down on the Ohio River. And now it's a pretty nice aquarium. So, you know, there's a lot of cool things that have changed, and we're going to share. And we hope that people come to visit Cleveland, you know, come to Playhouse Square, come to the aquarium, come to the Rock Hall, come to Ohio Fish Rescue. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And while you're here, look us up, and maybe we'll have you come over and show you our tanks and put you in a video.
That'd be awesome. I wanted to let you know we're over the hour, which we didn't have to designate a certain time. I've enjoyed every bit of this, and we could probably go another 3 hours, but I want to go ahead and close out for other people to be streaming. But I want to give you this opportunity, Jack and Dan, to close us out and tell us anything that is upcoming that's pressing that you really want people to follow you and get a hold of something that you're doing? And
What is it that we have from?
Well, we just want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. We've been trying to, we get to rambling on and stuff like that.
Thanks, chat.
And, this is really awesome. I'm looking at some of this. I know Patty was talking about Lava Rock. I mean, here's the thing, Patty. Fish are pretty smart. If people think in nature, in streams and ponds and rivers, that everything's all soft and rounded and all that, they're way off. There's sharp things in nature, and there's.
It's funny, like the most nerdy kid in my class did not even know that fish had brains. I'm like,
yeah.
What? How do you not know that? Obviously, fish had brains.
But fish are pretty smart,
Right.
and you can put a lot of stuff in your tank. Now, Raleigh from Fish Cube in Jamaica was just talking a little bit to Funk, Aquafunk. Those two are really great guys too. Mentioned two great fish tubers, and they were talking a little bit about how really cheap plastic plants and things like that can cut your fish. We've never had that experience, but I know that has happened to folks. So you do have to be careful. But I don't know, Lava Rock's one of those things, especially if you use it as a substrate, especially if you have a turtle like we do. She's digging through there and grinding it up. This is really soft and everything. Plus, we bought it at Lowe's in a bag, and it's transported in a bag. So it's kind of like it gets tumbled and it gets rounded off. We didn't go to a volcano and like chop off a piece and throw it in here. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So, you got to think before you do things, but it's never good to make assumptions.
And you need to watch your aquarium when you do introduce it, because the fish are pretty adaptable. A lot of times you don't realize it. I've been criticizing for keeping the black sandblasting sand in my aquariums with the plecos and the corridors and the yo-yo loaches. And I said, if you watch their behavior, they still forage for food, but they're careful in how they approach pointy edges and stuff.
They're smart. They're not stupid. They know what they do.
Patty, this is a great comment. If fish didn't have brains, then they'd be plants. That's right.
That's too funny.
You know what? I don't think people realize when you love fish and you keep fish, you watch them and you get to know their behavior, and it's just like any other animal. Like if Lacey's sad, I know she's sad. If my fish are hungry or whatever, we know, and we know if they're happy. And if they're having a particularly hard time with a structure or a substrate, like you were saying, or whatever, you're going to know it.
Yes.
You're going to know it, and you're going to pay attention to that because you love them, and you're going to change it.
They know, not fish specifically, but animals. They know when we're sad too, as well. So they're not completely stupid. They're self-aware as well. Like if I'm sick, like my cats at my mom's house, they'll come up to me and they'll sleep with me because animals have feelings. They know about.
Yeah, I think it's it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. We love all the YouTubers we've met, not just the fish tubers, all the YouTubers, and there's lots of other wonderful people we've met. We really appreciate your time and you sharing us on here, and we're going to continue to do our shout out videos and try to, share some of the things that people have sent us and shared with us, and try to get people to know some of the new up and comers and some of the channels that are smaller, and maybe, they're trying to kind of figure things out when it comes to YouTube and stuff. And we're going to keep doing that kind of stuff, and just, just try to keep going. I mean, there's so many negative, bad, awful things going on in the world. You can't really do a lot about a lot of it, but what you can do is put a little more of the good stuff out there,
Yep. And there's more for us to do. There is always more for us to do, more for us to get involved with. And the Fish Fam community has always been an awesome community that help each other out when they find out that there's a need. And everything that you two do goes beyond what
Thanks so much. That's really nice.
And above and beyond.
Hey, you too, Susan. Believe me, you too, for sure. What you do, it's a wonderful thing. If anybody wants to participate in the giveaway or the contest, we forgot to mention this because somebody was asking about an email and everything. If anybody wants to, we're not going to delete that video yet. Just go to our channel, check out the fundraiser/giveaway. We do have about 70 entries already. We'll probably end up with about 100. Our email is in the description. We also have our email on our About page. You know, if you go to our About page and you hit that little thing that says I'm not a robot, it'll show you my email. And we talk about the email a lot. I got an old school email. It's metalroar@aol.com. It was one of the first AOL emails ever, like 32 years ago, and I still have the same email. It's from back when I used to sing in a metal band and play drums and all that, and I just kept it as funny. But
Back when the Office didn't even exist yet.
yeah, the Office did not exist. Shows were not on like that yet. He's so funny. And you can enter, you can email us your answer. Obviously, I said the answer was Caesar. So if you're on this stream, you got a heads up. And we're gonna take all of those and we're gonna do a giveaway. And anything that you want, anywhere in the world, whoever gets picked is gonna be able to pick whatever they want off of our Teespring account. We're gonna be doing more of those when we hit 15,000 and so on and so forth. We took a picture at Ohio Fish Rescue with Big Rich's 1,000 per subscriber play button. That's going to be in the video tomorrow.
I at least,
and
when it, like in our YouTube career, I at least want to go. I at least want to get a gold play button.
He was holding it. Jack's holding it, and Big Rich takes his big mullet and puts it on top of Jack's head. It's pretty funny. And he says, maybe we'll get, and I said, maybe we'll get one of these someday.
Cool to hold the play button. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and I said, maybe we'll get one of these someday. And Big Rich says, oh yeah, you guys will. He's just such a nice guy. But anyway, we could go on and on and on. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for everybody in the chat. Go check out the thing. We want somebody to win, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we got a whole bunch of great stuff coming up, and we know you do too. So we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you, Susan, and maybe we'll try to do this again sometime.
Thank you so much.
Bye, chat.
We love you. Fish Fan Mom's kiss.
Bye.
Jack and Dan, thank you for being with us today.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.